y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Killing Them Softly. How y'all doing? Hey. So what's been killing y'all this week? Here's what's up with us. Sexuality. So we're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves. My name is Cora.
I'm Makai.
Jordan.
Yeah,
My name is Jordan. I'm the special guest.
We're going to keep going. Fuck it. I'm Makai.
Hi, I'm Melvin Jones.
What's up, y'all? Miles.
And we have a special guest today who just introduced her name.
Jordan.
Was supposed to introduce her name, Jordan.
So first we wanted to go ahead and give a short description of the LGBTQ plus community, just so everybody knows, because I know like some people don't understand what some of the acronyms mean.
Right.
So Jordan, if you want to go ahead and explain some of that and the right way we should be saying it.
Right. So the LGBTQ plus community is pretty much a community that has all came together. It's lesbian, bisexual, gay, queer, transgender, all of that kind of in one, just to support everybody as one community. So that's just what it is. And I would just say never assume someone's pronoun or what they are in the community, because a lot of times you'll be wrong. So if you know somebody's gay or lesbian or whatever, don't assume what they are, just kind of roll with it, because everybody goes by something different.
Cool. All right.
Yeah, you.
So we're just going to get right into it. We're going to get to the shit first, and then we're going to end with the light stuff. All right? Is that
right.
Cool?
All right.
All right. So
nah, forget that. Let's do straight deep. Straight deep.
Oh, my God.
So anyway. Okay, so the first question we have for you is this. Battling through your younger years, like in high school, did you feel like you had like a burden on your chest before you came out or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely, especially since I grew up in a small town and I went to a private school. It's definitely not something that you feel comfortable telling people. Mm-hmm. And I mean, carrying around any huge secret that affects your daily life is going to be a burden on anyone. So yeah, it was definitely really hard. I mean, I didn't come out until I was in college, but I would say if I could have come out sooner, I would have, because I mean, there were so many things that didn't make sense, so many friendships that didn't make sense, so many dates on guys that I went just to be normal, things, all of that, none of it made sense. So it's hard to have the best time of your life in high school and enjoy all those years with people when they don't know like such a big part of you.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a burden.
Did you feel like, because, okay, for people who don't know, that's actually my best friend, one of my best friends.
Yeah,
we were roommates our first year in college before she left me. But anyway, like, did you feel like ever hiding the secret from me or anybody else you were close with? It made it difficult.
Definitely.
No, let me just say something, bitch. I knew. I already knew.
Everybody did. It was
yeah,
only
we
I'm
knew.
the only one who thought it was a secret.
And I remember it was this funny story that I actually have with you with it, because Jordan did, as she said, she did come out in college, but it wasn't even at the beginning of college.
Right.
It was later down the road in college.
Like 1 year in, yeah.
Right. And I remember when we all first linked up, and I think it was somebody that was in our class. It was a girl that was in our class, and she brought a friend from out of town. And I remember she was up on you heavy, bro. She was like, who is this? Who is this girl? What is she about? I remember she asked you, I was sitting right there when she asked for you, I think like your number or something, and you were like, oh, I'm not gay.
I was so scared. I was like, I want to say yes, but I cannot say yes. I want to say yes, but I cannot say yes.
I remember that girl. She was trying to hit on every girl at that party.
Yeah,
she tried to hit on me too.
She was having fun. I'll tell you after the episode.
No, I just
no, but it is true, Makai.
I knew, but I didn't. I was like, I'm gonna just wait for this bitch to say it. I'm not about to pressure her to say nothing.
Yeah, no, you were good about that. And that's the thing. That's such a positive thing that you did for me, because it ended up making me feel so much more comfortable. But 1,000%, I hid it from all my friends. I hid it from everybody that I lived with, everybody I went to school with, which was so weird because I went into an art school where it was such a healthy, loving environment. But when you have a secret for so long, even if you know, like, if I release this information, they're only going to love me more. It's like terrifying to let go of that because you've been holding on to it for so long. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you feel about like now that burden has been kind of released off your shoulder?
Yeah, I mean, I feel good. I still feel like there's always gonna be something there because every situation in life is different, and I still meet people where I feel, uncomfortable being my fullest true self in front of. I still have to be around family who loves me and accepts me, but also kind of struggles with what it all really means still. So every day I still go over hurdles, but it's definitely a huge relief to be where I'm at right now.
With your coming out story, like, do you mind speaking on that and like how it went down?
Yeah. Okay. So everybody's coming out story is different. Mine was bad, but yeah, I was dating a girl, and I had literally never told anyone. I had told one person at this point, and she lived across the country, so I knew if she told people, I was never gonna be in contact with them. But I felt like I needed to tell my parents, so I literally went down. I was in the mountains. I went down the mountain to my car with my best friend. We sat in the car, and she held my hand, and I called my dad. And I told my dad, and he was kind of just like confused because my whole life I had acted like I was very interested in men. So obviously that's going to be confusing. But he was pretty chill about it. He was just like, I don't know if you're lonely. I was working at a summer camp, so I was surrounded by a bunch of girls. So he was like, I don't know if that's just all you have access to, but really think it over. And I'm always going to love you no matter what. But this is a huge decision that's going to affect your everyday life. So don't do something that you're going to regret. And so I was feeling pretty good. I was like, okay, so we'll slowly introduce him. And then obviously I got my mom on the phone, who is very religious. And I mean, I had never met somebody in my hometown that was part of the LGBTQ plus community. So it was just nothing any of us had to deal with or be confronted with. So when I told her, she took it pretty harshly just because she believed that in her religion it was wrong and stuff like that. And everybody has their own different beliefs and reads the Bible differently. But yeah, it was really hard. We fought for a long time. There were times where we didn't talk, and it took a couple years. I think now this is the first time I'm in a place where I'm able to be super comfortable in my house. But obviously that took a long time. That took therapy sessions and harder breakups because you have nobody to talk them through with. That's family and like all that stuff to be able to be comfortable with yourself. Because I mean, even if you don't have a close relationship with your mom and dad, there's still something in you that loves them more than anything in the world. So you always want to make them proud. And I know like no matter what happens, you always want to have something in you that makes them proud. So being able to actually talk it through with them and have them listen has been a lot easier, but it was definitely super hard because you totally lose full connection with them because it's like you're on two different planets, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So
that's good. And I'm glad you mentioned therapy too, because we talked about that in our last episode about how therapy could be so much more than just like if you need mental help. It could be like for situations like this. Yeah, definitely.
And I think it's hard because you have to go to therapy and realize that you have to meet somebody who you can connect with. I went to like 4 different therapists and I didn't like any of them. I felt like I couldn't talk my story through with them because I just felt like they didn't understand. Mm-hmm. I think it reminded me too much of people that I had connections with back in my hometown. So when I finally found somebody who was new and fresh for me, it's like I could tell them everything and know they could understand, and they're not going to be thinking in the back of their head like ideas and ideals that people were thinking in my hometown. That's when I felt comfortable, and that's when I was really able to open up and grow in therapy. So
I love that.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, a lot of people give up on therapy. That's the thing, because they go to one therapist, and if you can't connect with them, then it seems like a load of bullshit. Mm-hmm. So, you find that one person that you can really work things through with, whether that be a therapist, a partner, a friend, a family member, then you're going to really be able to work through what you're going through.
True. Do you feel like it's easier now to come out compared to like maybe 10 years ago or, even 5 years ago? I honestly think, even when you came out, it was a little bit, it was still kind of transitioning a bit,
Right. And it just depends on where you are and people's ideas. I mean, people are always going to judge you. They're always going to look at you different. They're always going to see you as something that they're not. whether or not they should just see us as humans, it doesn't matter. If that's what they believe in, they're always going to look at you different no matter what. So I do think it's easier. I think there are a lot more role models who are, building these foundations and putting out these videos and making it seem okay. But I think it really just depends on where you are.
I 100% agree with that, because I feel like as some people have the kind of families where they can talk to their parents or their siblings about anything. One half of my family doesn't quite feel that way because of religion. And I think if I were to try to come out, if I were gay or anything of that sort, I feel like it wouldn't go so smooth for me.
Right. And you know what is people kind of have to understand, and it took me a long time to get here, but you're never going to change someone, right? And you always go into situations thinking, I'm going to tell these people that this is when I'm most happiest. This is who I love. This is like where I want to be. This is where I'm going to grow the most. But you can't change what they believe in, especially if they're passionate about something. So you kind of have to go into the situation being like, this is me. I would just like to be on an agreement level with you. We don't have to speak about it. We don't have to argue about it, but we both need to respect each other. And that's kind of where this situation can stay controlled, because when I first came out, I was like, no, y'all need to love me. You need to be okay with like who I bring around. I need to not feel uncomfortable. You don't need to say this about me. Don't use that derogatory word. Like, it really hurts my feelings. Mm-hmm. Then we kind of got to an agreement where it was like, okay, either we're not going to talk about this as long as you don't talk about this. And we're okay with this, but you have to respect that. We're not okay with this because of religion and how we grew up and our parents' ideals and everything like that. So you really just have to meet on a common ground. That's the main thing. And it's really hard to do that when you first come out and tell somebody something, because it's something you've had in yourself for so long and you just want it out. And when it comes out, you're like a fiery ball. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to stay calm. And I think that's what's helped me the most over the years.
So do you think, like, as far as your friendships, like, has coming out helped your friendships or your relationship with your parents or even your girlfriend now flourish in any type of way or affected it any type of way?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Like, when I came out to you, I mean, we were already so close, but that made us 10 times closer just because it was like, how could you not know? You know what I mean? And once you found out, you were the happiest in the world for me. Like, I bet you felt closer to me just like I felt closer to you. But it's also when you have friendships and you're in the closet and some people are closer than other people, and that can get very confusing as well, because you might get feelings for somebody or you might think they have feelings for you, but you're both straight. And so things can get very confusing very quick. So I think my friendships now are definitely a lot stronger because I go in like 100% who I am and I just feel comfortable. If I'm not, then I know that that's not going to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I agree to that. Like, I think, of course, I can't even imagine that the experience that you had to even go through with that, but I believe that when you're being 100% communicative and you're being straight up, you're being transparent, I think that has to do nothing but strengthen those relationships. And if it doesn't, then you shouldn't be in those relationships in the first place.
Agreed. And that's the thing, like I said, you're not going to change people. So I'll be super close to someone, and then if they don't agree with that, it's like I can never change them, but the friendship's never going to be the same. So we didn't have the solid foundation that we thought we had. So it's definitely strengthened my friendships. It's definitely strengthened my relationship with my parents and obviously my girlfriend.
Yeah, because Caroline was already out before.
No, Caroline wasn't out. So she's always been in a relationship with women, but she had never told her family. And so after we dated for a while, she ended up coming out to her family.
Oh.
Yeah.
When you and Caroline, is it Caroline or Caroline?
Caroline. When
you and Caroline first met, what was that thing that kind of told you, okay, I might actually have a shot? Because I feel like that's one of the things that would confuse me the most. Like, should I make my shot or I don't know.
Yeah, it's scary for sure, because you don't want someone to be like, oh, I'm straight, or like never want to talk to you again because they think like you have one thing in mind for them. But me and Caroline actually met at a summer camp 7 years before we started dating. So I had known her for a long time, and I had known about a previous relationship she was in. So she had never outwardly told me that she was gay, but she she was in a relationship with someone I knew. So I was like, okay, I know she's gay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know. But I definitely am terrified. Like, I've always been scared to shoot my shot with, like, girls that are maybe straight. But I feel like, honestly, I've had more luck with straight girls than I've had with gay girls.
I was about to say, I don't even know about all that because Jordan she's nice and wholesome and in that wholesome relationship right now. But you know, when I guess I explained from my experience.
Yeah, twin the stories.
When Jordan came out, it was like amazing for me because that was my wing girl. You feel me?
I know. All the girls wanted me and Melvin, but only together.
So yeah.
That is wild, Melvin.
You actually know what's funny though? Like, whenever I go out, and specifically with Melvin and Miles, whenever I go out with them, I get hit on women the most.
Bruh, CJ would go out. See, we would all go out, and it would be way more girls looking at CJ than me and Miles.
That ass! You see that ass?
Exactly.
I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna just head out. Like,
I know every guy wants to go out with his boys. I'm like, go out with one of your girls.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you.
No, honestly, facts though, because we pull the girls. If you like somebody too, we're gonna be the ones that's like,
right. No, yeah, we've all had experiences together. That's what's so funny about this is we've all had funny experience happen. So that is
we did.
Yeah, everyone's not a little gay, but everyone's a little gay.
Speaking of funny experiences, we wanted to ask you, what were some funny situations you found yourself in before coming out? Like any funny stories? Because I know you talked about like dating guys and like you would go and get dates with guys. You were normal.
Oh my God. Okay, so when you're in the closet, at least when I was in the closet, I mean, it's different for everybody. I would be like, okay, I'm going to find the one right guy and it's going to be perfect. It's finally going to click. It's finally going to be cool, but I pushed it too hard. I would be too nice to guys, knowing that I never really wanted anything to happen. So when I was living in New York alone and I first got my dog, I was working at this pizza shop and I needed somebody to walk my dog during my hours that I was at work. So this guy that always came into my pizza shop, he would always hit on me. So one day I was like, hey, I'll pay you if you walk my dog. Like, could you walk him while I'm here? Because I didn't have enough time to go home for my breaks. And he was like, yeah, sure. So like a week passed, right? He's walked my dog every single day and I have not paid this man $1. Not $1. So finally, one day I get off of work early, but he was walking the dog. So we are at my house at the same time. He's like, hey, here's your dog. I'm like, oh, thank you. How much do I owe you? He's like, he's like, oh, no, you don't owe me anything. I'm into you. Like, let's go inside. I was like, wait. I looked at him. I was like, whoa. I was like, wait, no, just let me pay you. He's like, girl, I know you're into it. I'm like, I'm not into it. Like, I'm really not. So anyways, I was scared to death because you're in that position and like, I didn't want to be like, no, I'm gay, right? So you're in that position. I'm like, should I invite him in? Is this going to get out of control? Like, what is about to happen? And he just was going in at me. He's like, let's go get Chipotle. Let's do this. I'll buy this for you. Come on, I'm walking your dog for free. So finally, when I was just like, no, this is not what this is. This man was so mad that he walked my dog that he wanted to make a statement so bad. He walked my dog for a week for free and then went and take my money because that's just not what he wanted. So that kind of shit definitely happened to me a lot. Like, even when I was in high school, my prom date, like after prom, he was like trying to get all like into something. And I was just like, I'm on my period. Like,
not on the period.
I always lied to these guys. So yeah, that's some funny things that happened when I was in the closet.
Just like ducking and dodging, pretty much.
It was like ducking and dodging. I was like giving them the attention, but then once they wanted it returned, I was like, because that's the kind of shit that makes me nervous. I'm like, I can't even act like this because I would be like, what the fuck?
Do you guys believe that you can be how should I rephrase this question? Do you believe that a guy could be with a girl, and he had, you know, previous experiences with other dudes, like he messed around with another dude, and could or vice versa with girls?
So you're saying like if someone of the like a guy messed around with a guy but has a girlfriend, like would you consider him gay?
Yes. Is that person then gay, or is it just a spectrum?
Yeah, it's all just a spectrum, like everything is. But it's weird because I know girls and guys who have messed with the same sex and who would be like, I'm not gay. I've never been gay. I've never liked any guy. But the thing is, like, it doesn't make you gay, but it does mean you're bi-curious, or that you were in the past bi-curious. Because, like, if I ask my brother or my sister right now, they're like, there's never been a day in my life that I've thought about dating a guy or dating a girl. It's just never been a question in my mind. And I do believe that there are people who don't question it at all, but I do believe that a lot of people lie on the spectrum, especially nowadays, because everything is okay mostly. So, you know, you're not going to be stoned for being with the same sex or whatever. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's a spectrum.
Yeah.
It doesn't make somebody gay.
No, I feel like it's called, but I feel like when it comes to men, people always encourage like women to go ahead and explore their sexuality, but when it comes to men, like,
that's true.
Double standard, and they're not allowed to do it. I feel like, because where he got this from is because we were talking about the show Insecure, and on the show Insecure, one of the main characters, Molly, was dating this guy, and they had a conversation, and he revealed to her that one time when he was drunk, he was out with his friends, he had an experience where a guy gave him head. And that was it. I just felt like it wasn't my thing or whatever. And in the show, she couldn't get past it, but her best friend, Issa, was like, that doesn't make him gay. Like, get past it. It's whatever. So we were talking and debating about that. I feel like it doesn't make someone gay if they've tried it before and they feel like that's not what it is. You know? Right. I feel like we encourage people to try different things to explore. Right. But I just feel like you don't know until you... Some people are straight. Some people are just like, that's not what it is. Like, I just know I like girls. I know I like guys. It is what it is. Some people are curious and they want to try it. And if
I agree with you.
That doesn't make you.
I agree, and that's why pronouns and stuff get so.
Oh no.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't 100% agree, because I feel like people just won't if they don't have an interest. And if they do have an interest to try, everyone, if they have an interest, should be able to try and should have no judgment. But it is interest that gets them in the situation. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. I feel like I speak in metaphors. I feel like if I was to dip my toe in the water, am I not wet?
What?
Oh. No, wait a minute. No, because my thing is, if I were to blindfold you right now, you, and you, especially if you drunk, whether it's a guy or a girl.
I know.
But he would have had his own eyes. No, he would have had his eyes closed thinking about a girl, though. That's the difference.
No, regardless. Why would I be blind? Why would I allow myself to be blindfolded? Is number one. That's number two. Is no.
If it feels good, then it feels good.
No.
That does not make you gay.
Damn say if I dip my water.
Is my toe still gonna be wet, ho?
It's like the one drop rule when they talk about people who are black, like an octoroon. If you have one drop of black in you, you're black. So it's the same. I feel like it's the same concept with if you are experimenting with sex.
How do you know if you have a drop?
A black?
You go to ancestry.com.
Order your kid. They're gonna take your saliva. You gotta send it back.
Because I hate being the special guest to the barbecue, so I want to know if I have a drop.
Since you want to host the barbecue.
I feel like it doesn't. I feel like everyone should be able to try it and like.
So follow up question. So would you talk to a dude, Makai, that previously partaked in dipping their toe?
You guys
be careful answering that if this is gonna be on the internet.
No, listen, you guys know
don't get yourself in trouble.
You guys know I'm weird, and I feel like I would, because we were talking about it, and at first I was like, no, I wouldn't, and then I was like, yeah, I would, because I was talking about it with my mom. So I was like, I found Jaden Smith attractive, and my mom's like, but you're not.
That man is so fine.
That man is fine.
That's a healthy guy.
And if you see this, Anyway.
I will grow my hair for him.
But I think I would, just because I was really thinking about it before we recorded this episode, and I just strongly believe that it does not make someone gay if they tried it. Like, I'm sick of these double standards for men, and that we have to think of these men as just like so masculine, and if they want to do certain
I agree with that.
Even experimental with women, like men are like, I don't want nothing on my butt, don't touch my butt, even if you're a woman, it's gay. Like, shut up.
But that's my thing though. Like, I don't think it's not necessarily a masculine or feminine thing. Like, I don't look at it like that. Like, you feel me? Like, I look at it like just as we were talking with your moms. Like, it was girls. Y'all be up in the club dancing and everything. You feel me? Y'all would do stuff to one another in order to attract guys.
Okay,
like,
but let me tell you this. You would love for two beautiful lesbian girls to come home with you, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean,
you know it's different. I know it's different because Makai probably wouldn't want two gay men coming to her house to, chill or whatever. Yeah. But that's the difference, though. Girls do it because guys love it. A lot of times, girls do it because guys love it. So it's not because they're interested in doing it. They're just trying to get y'all going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a fantasy thing, because even when people talk about threesomes, they automatically think two guys, one girl. I mean, two girls, one guy, but they never think about two guys, one girl. So,
but I see where you're coming from, Makai, but I think that and I think there should be no pressure on men, and there is. But I also think there's a lot of men who, even with no pressure, wouldn't ever try it. But being bi-curious isn't something that you're labeled for the rest of your life. It's just in that moment, like, you are curious about what that might feel like or be like, then you don't like it, so then
it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. I think everybody at some point in their time has vicarious thoughts. Like I just think you have to have that in order to know your sexuality. Like, you that's something you have to now, just like what you said, depending on what that is. I'm glad you actually said this. Like, you can mess with in your head, mess with another, or a dude can mess with another dude and then get with a girl and he be bi-curious. Because I do think that is the case, then that person then just being gay. I did see
definitely, because most gay people don't even label themselves as gay. So it's like, that's why it's just such an up in the air question. But I think bi-curious is the perfect word for it. But I also think in the moment thing, like, that definitely does not make a man gay. And also, I feel like if that happened in their past, they definitely shouldn't have pressure on them to tell somebody, because it's like, you don't tell the girl that you're dating how many girls or every girl's name or what exactly you did with each other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Found that out, you'd be like, oh, that's a little weird.
For men, though, why are y'all so sensitive about that subject? Because even like the no homo thing, y'all could say the thing is slightest from being gay, and y'all quick to say no homo. I'm like, what are you talking about? Why are y'all so sensitive to that?
Melvin, do you think, and Miles, do you think it's because like girls especially put such a pressure on guys and look at them so weird if they are being like just like super like what's the word, like, not touchy, but like, that's my brother, like, I love him, I'm all over him, but no homo? Do you think you say that because like you think you have the pressure that other people are going to see you differently, or do you think you do that because of your masculinity?
So that's the same question.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't do it for, I don't know. I think as far as with the no homo thing, I think that's evolved more into the culture. I think guys do say that. I said that yesterday. I said my friend said he was clapping somebody's cheeks on Call of Duty Warzone, and we know what that is. And he was like, oh, no homo. And we were like, yeah. Like, but I don't think it's necessarily a sensitive thing or not. Like, I think, like, I've been around, I have a lot of my friends who are gay, guys too. They've said no homo before, like, just off some jokey. Yeah. But I do think in regards to just the question as a whole, I just like I said, I don't think it's necessarily a sensitive thing. I think women is gonna always be more in touch with their feelings than guys. I do think guys should be searching to find their feelings, to be in touch with their feelings.
Their feminine.
You said what?
More of like their feminine side.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I don't know. I just think it's too, I don't know, maybe it's just a stereotype in my head. I look at it like a stereotype. Like I think women, just like what you guys have been saying, women it's always been kind of okay for women to, be up on to just hang out, and not even to impress guys, but I know women that just like women friends that just like kiss,
right.
like give each other a peck. Like that's not, guys don't do that though. Like, and I think that's always been the case. So maybe that is a big stereotype, but you won't see me like with my boy, like, all right, I'll catch you later. Mwah. Like, you won't, nah.
Right.
But y'all be even making like hugs weird. Y'all.
No, yeah.
Nah, I will say, like, I used to
He
be
said
very,
no.
I did used to be very weird about hugging and like saying I love you, and like as y'all know, like for a while, like I couldn't even say I love you to anybody. Like it was a big thing for me.
Right.
So like it was something I had to get over and be like, okay, there's actually different types of love. Like you do have platonic love, you have romantic love, you have all these different forms. So I had to get comfortable telling my best friends, like my brothers, like, yo, I love you, be safe. Like,
Right.
like it's just it's not something that's normal in male culture. Like I don't know how to describe it, but it's not something, like Melvin said, like we don't go around kissing each other or showing that much physical affection, because like no matter how much like we try to make everything equal now, there will always be this double standard with men and women. Like it will never
Right.
it will never be the same.
And that goes
sure.
hand in hand with everything. It's like nothing's ever going to be 100% equal on anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will say for me personally, like if a guy is too like no homo and like just really extra sensitive about that stuff, it kind of makes me feel like you're a little gay. Like if you're just extra homophobic, it makes me feel like there's something in you that like you don't like.
It's insecure about it.
Yeah, that's
the one
to the world. So when I meet guys that are just like, oh, that's gay, or like I remember I was talking to this guy one time and I had showed him a video like on Twitter and he was like, ugh, gay people. I stopped talking to him. I was like, so you're gay? Like I'm gonna help you out. I'm letting you know you're gay, because it wouldn't bother you if you weren't. I don't see women kissing. I'm like, oh my god, cringe, because it's like, okay, do your thing, shawty.
Right.
I would definitely agree to that. Like I remember in high school, like they would be saying that all the time, and I was just sitting over there like, okay, cool. Like, do we really have to say that for everything, or what's going on?
Yeah,
really
I mean, I did that. Go, Cora. My bad.
You good, but it just makes me feel like you're insecure, like you said, Jordan. It makes me feel like there's a part of you that you're unsure about that you need to figure out.
Yeah, because I mean, I used to do that all the time. I would be like, I'm not gay, and I even at one point in my life would go to the point of being like, ew, that's nasty, or that's not right, or that's not what I believe in.
Mm-hmm.
It made me feel like I was farther away, and people were like, oh yeah, there's no way Jordan could be like that. This is what she said to me last week. So I agree. I mean, I'm not speaking for everyone, but for me, that was the situation. Like I was very much like, ew, no, like in any situation, I would be like, I'm not gay, and people would be like, nobody asked.
Yeah, because I would try to hug you, and you'd be like, don't touch me, and I'm like,
I'd be like, don't touch me, like I'm not gay, and then Makai would be like, I'm just trying to say bye. Like,
the question we have for you is, you good? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Another question we got for you is, what are some stereotypes about the LGBTQ plus community that you hate the most?
I hate that people consider any girl who dresses androgynous a dyke. I get called a dyke all the time. Like, even by my friends, they're like, oh, like you're a dyke, right? And I'm like, no, I'm not a dyke. Like, I'm very in touch with my femininity and masculinity. So I don't consider myself a dyke. And that just goes with like pronouns and stuff. I think people just like, they make up these stereotypes in their head, and they'll see somebody and they're just so open and ready to throw it at them. You know what I mean? Yeah. Another thing is, we were just kind of talking about this, which it's not bad because I feel like it's just now becoming more common, but like a lot of gay guys, there are a lot of flamboyant ones, but there are a lot of like very normal, like mostly in touch with their masculine side, like not super feminine, gay guys that you would never know were gay. So I feel like for them, that's definitely something that can be annoying. Nothing else other than, I mean, just like pronouns. People just say like the most craziest things to you. I mean, I can't tell you the amount of times in New York City that I've been called a faggot in the subway. Just because people like don't understand that's such a derogatory term. Like that's slang for something terrible. You know what I mean? So yeah, those are definitely the things that
I don't even think it should be in, you feel like our repertoire. Like honestly, like I think the gay community should be able to. It's like us in the N-word. You feel me? Like I don't think, like, my friend says it all the time. Cam, who will be interviewing as well. He says it all the time in our group, and we just be like yeah, like we laugh with it, we enjoy it, but it's like we know that that's not a word that you should be saying outside of the community that you're in. You feel me?
Yeah, I mean, people don't understand. I mean, a lot of people just aren't educated on the word. Like, it used to be back then, they used to like light a stick on fire and throw it at gay people and burn them. And that's what a faggot was. They used to call cigarettes, because you light a cigarette and it burns, a faggot. Yeah. So that's where that word comes from. And people don't understand, like, it came from death and it came from terrible like rituals and stuff like that. So I would say it's definitely a slang word, and I don't even like to use it. I don't really know a lot of gay people that do use it. Some people do, whatever, but I don't think anybody should be saying it, because if you think about the origin of it, it is a terrible, terrible, sad thing. So
I actually didn't know that, so you just educated me on something.
Jordan, I have a question. How do you feel about representation in pop culture? Because I feel like everything that I see, everybody in the community is always over-sexualized, and I want to know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have specific feelings on it, just because I can see the good behind it, but I can also see the bad behind it. I think a lot of the reason why now in elementary, middle school, high schools, when people come out or overdo the whole gay thing or LGBTQ plus thing, is because of their idol who they're seeing on the TV do this, and it might not even actually resonate with them. So then when they're like, oh, just kidding, that was just a phase, that's where everyone gets the thing like, oh, are you going through a phase? Like, is this just a phase? You know what I mean? And I don't think they're doing anything wrong, but a lot of times now I see people are so comfortable going out on the internet and just being so in people's face about things because that's what their idols are doing, that's where it can become a gray area for parents and relatives and friends to be like, oh, like, I didn't know this about you. Like, are you going through a phase? This happened to what's her name last year and she was going through a phase. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it can be good and bad. So I don't really know if I have a specific opinion on it, but it definitely has its good, because, you know, if you have an idol that you can look up to that is like you, that's an amazing thing, especially if you're in a dark place. But if, you know, all you're looking up to is that, and you feel like you have to transform to be like them to be cool, then that's where it can get kind of like gray area.
Yeah. Okay, so last question, is there any advice you would give someone who is younger than you, the same age, older, who is struggling to come out or live their truth?
Yeah, I would definitely just say, don't let anybody push you to do it. Like, if you let one person know and you're still in the closet, don't let them push you to tell people. Don't look at other people's journey and compare it to yours, because you're always going to know when the time is right. And if it doesn't feel right, there's probably a reason that it doesn't feel right. So you definitely want to feel that out. And also, just when you go into it, everyone told me this, like, everyone always told me it's going to be okay. Like, it's going to be okay. But the thing is at first it's going to be hard no matter what. Even if your parents accept you, it's going to be hard because it's a new step in your life and it's going to be scary. So you need to take those feelings and really work through them. Talk to somebody that you trust, talk to a therapist, and just feel out the situation as best as you can and do it at a time that works for you and nobody else. And that's all I would say, because I just feel like a lot of people get pushed to do something or feel like they have to do it because they see other people do it, and it's never going to feel okay if you're doing it on somebody else's time. So
I just keep smiling throughout this whole thing because not for nothing, like, we'll move on to the last thing, but Jordan, I'm so proud of you, because I was here.
I know, I've never talked about this before.
I know, and just, like, seeing, like, how much you've grown, and I remember when you were really struggling with all of this, and I was one of those people who was like, it's gonna be okay, bitch, but, like,
I know, you were right there, all y'all were right there.
I didn't have to go home, and I have to lay in bed, and I wasn't walking in your shoes, so just to see, like, the stage you are in now, and, like, you being so happy and things coming together, it makes me happy.
That's growth.
Yeah, it does get better. I mean, there's always going to be a situation that gets better. So whoever is listening, if you're in a situation right now and you think it can't get better, you're going to find your family. Like these people right here, when I didn't have my family, were my family. So just
love you, girl.
That's all I have to say.
Aww.
Love you.
Also, Jordan was my roommate as well.
I know, like what? Why did I say that? And Miles was my roommate too.
I was up there all the time. What we got going
That's
on?
what she left me for.
Stories. Me and Melly Mel were just running the streets with the ladies.
No, that's why I feel ashamed, because I was like, that's what she left me for.
Hey, look, we'll always have them twin stories.
Yeah, that's right. I'm about to Snapchat y'all right now.
I said, Makai, you was up there all the time.
I was up there all the time.
Makai pretty much lived up there after.
Makai wasn't messing with us yet, though, at that time.
No. But she was always fucking with me.
But me, Mel, and Miles, she wasn't messing with us yet.
Not yet.
It was me, CJ, and Miles for the longest, and then we all started to come together.
I used to look at Makai like, who this corny girl?
No,
stop lying, because you always been in love with that girl. Stop lying.
Yeah, I was like, yo, what's up?
Lie again. I actually really wasn't.
No, he used to dead hate me, and I was like, you're gonna be my friend. And
at first he really didn't like Makai. He didn't think she had good intentions.
He didn't like her at first.
Try again.
I remember that.
And I used to be all up in his face, like, what's that best friend? And he'd be like, if you don't get the
like.
I used to protect the shit out of Miles. Like, I was so protective over him.
Jordan was my girl, man. We used to be over there. Oh my God.
I used to steal Cora's food to make him rice. I'd be like, hey, Miles, come to the house. I have food for you. And I would be like going through Cora's pantry, like, I have no food. I got no money.
Over there rummaging through the cabinets. I'd be like, feed me.
Ew.
Or I had the mashed potatoes that were pre-seasoned. Oh my.
I'm hot.
Cora,
For the record, also,
like,
all that food that she cooked you, I taught her how to cook.
That's true. I'll be in the kitchen like this. Cora, how do you make instant rice?
How do you make instant rice?
No.
Good days, good times. Those some good memories we had.
All right, to wrap it up, though, we did ask the same question that we talked about in this episode on our Instagram story. So if you were a part of that, now we're going to read some of the responses. You see, why can't I talk today? You see what you guys feel like. If someone has had an sexual experience before, does that make them gay, guy, or girl? And yeah, Cora, go ahead, take it away.
So there were 19 people who voted no, it doesn't necessarily make you gay. There were 3, Melvin and Miles included, that said that yes, it does make you gay. I had to go ahead and put it out there.
Dang, just air our stuff out, why don't you?
Yeah. The reason I called you two out, Melvin and Miles specifically, is because y'all were part of Killing Them Softly. So what's good? Y'all supposed to.
Like I said, I still hold firm to my belief. Just like we were talking about. I think that there, and there's always going to be, in some type of cases, a double standard. I think, and this is just no judgment at all. Like, but I do think, yes, if you mess around with dudes and you've been in that field.
Yo, listen, look, Mel, alley-oop, just throw the ball. I'm going to say it again. If you dip your toe in the water, is you not wet? You wet. You wet. Like, you not soaked, you not dripping, but is you or is you not wet?
It's true.
Well, what did some of the people say?
So with that being said, also, I do also just want to make sure that it's clear that no matter what anybody voted, no matter what anybody said, We're not judging you. We value your opinion. We may not agree with you, but we are definitely not judging you. For the most part, it was all generally the same thing. Whereas if you experiment outside of the opposite sex, then you're bi-curious, or you're not sure of what your sexuality is. You're not comfortable with yourself. There were only the other person who did vote that yes, it makes you gay was the person who said that everybody is gay or is somewhat gay, and if you deny it, then
go to that person, because I got a couple words for that person.
I'm not gonna set that person out, but it was a woman. I will say that.
Just to piggyback off that comment, I would have to disagree. I don't think everybody is a little bit gay. Now, to Jordan's point, I do think everybody can be bi-curious. But I think
and maybe not even everybody, but some people, because I'm telling you right now, both my brother and my sister, it's not just something they say. They're very comfortable around me and like who I am and just like LGBTQ plus in general, and they're just like, I promise you, I've never been curious. So not everybody.
That's all we got to say today. I want to thank Jordan for taking the time to come into this episode, join Killing Them Softly, and give us her peace of mind. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Make sure you're following us on Instagram. It's KES_podcast. Again, KES_podcast. Now you have no excuse not to follow us. We keep it live. We be lit. Speaking of live, we are going to be live now, so stay tuned for that.
We want to thank you guys again for tuning in today. Look out for part 2. We'll be bringing in another special guest, Cam, next week. If you guys have any questions that you guys would like us to ask him in our second part, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. Let us know what you think or your opinion on some of the things that we've asked Jordan today. Again, all opinions are welcome. We're never going to judge you, even if we disagree. And we will catch you guys next time in our next episode.
All right, y'all.
Doses.